over the years, as I've said before on this channel, I've made a very good number of good predictions that have come true about the Conservative Party, and in particular, what is going to happen to the Conservative Party. Indeed, I remember back in the day when I was telling people, Liz Truss is going to win this Conservative contest, and everyone is turning around going, no, 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 she hasn't got a single chance of winning. Liz Truss would never win in a month of Sundays. And yeah, I was proved right. Why was I proved right? Because as I keep on telling people, Conservative Home, their outreach is to the membership of the Conservative Party. That is who they are constantly reaching out to. That is who they are constantly polling. There is no other outfit, polling organization that does that. And as a result, Conservative Home has a far bigger and better idea of what is going on with the Conservative Party membership than any other outlet polling group that there is. And time again, as I have said, if you want to know what is going on in the Conservative Party, if you want to see and make predictions on the Conservative Party, you've got to look at what they do with their monthly polling on cabinet positions, because that predicted Boris Johnson's downfall. You've got to look at the polling that they do on that as well. They ask, questions about what do you think about this going on in the Conservative Party. Bear in mind, these polls tend to be more accurate than they get things wrong. So having a look at these types of things is incredibly very, very good. And you can also guess probably why I'm bringing this up, because guess what? There is more trouble on the horizon for Kemi Badenoch. Massive trouble, as you can see there. If voting today, Conservative members would just choose Jerrick as leader. Now, as I've said before, if Jerrick had won the election, he would be in just a spot as Kemi Badenoch, maybe even worse, because Jerrick would, I have thought, of at least push forward policy. And then, as we've seen in the past, that is what breaks the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party currently is not outward arguing yet, because it does not know what to argue about. And until Kemi Badenoch comes out and says, this is what our position is, this is what our policy on this is, there are no arguments. Until she says that, and until that happens, there's peace. However, they are starting to argue, and that argument is Kemi Badenoch really up for the job? Is she a good leader of our party? And will she be able to lead this party to victory? These are now increasing questions that we have seen over the past couple of months continuing to develop. The poor performance at PMQs does not give her any sort of support from her backbenchers at all. In fact, it has only gone down, as we've seen covering the Conservative shadow polls. But now we're going to have a look at those polls, because it does show you there is trouble coming for Kemi Badenoch. And we'll also go into some of the comments as well, because they are quite interesting as well. So, as always, before we do go on into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. Down below, there are links to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, there's the Pony Club down below as well. So, let's crack on then into this. So, this survey will just go a bit bigger for you so you can see. But the first one is, which of these following statements is now closest to your view? So they asked, essentially, do you think Kemi Badenoch will be the one to lead the Conservatives into the next general election? And they asked variations on that question. The top one is, Kemi Badenoch should definitely lead the Conservatives into the next election at 28%. Kemi Badenoch should probably lead the Conservatives into the next election at 29%. Kemi Badenoch should probably not lead the Conservatives into the next election at 21%. And Kemi Badenoch should definitely not lead the Conservatives. That is at 15.6%. And that is a big difference when you're going from definitely to probably. And it's interestingly worded like that as well, that they're going, definitely, probably, But yeah, you can see the Conservative membership is rapidly now losing faith with Kemi Badenoch. So, as they ask here, were the final round of voting to be held today, how would have you voted? And Robert Jerrick narrowly takes it at 41.2% with Kemi Badenoch on 41. So he would have narrowly taken the seat. But you can see that the Conservative Party membership is having buyer's regret, shall we say, for electing Kemi Badenoch. They are having some deep regret about putting Badenoch into the leadership position. Like I say, this will be happening with Jerrick as well. The idea that Jerrick would somehow be doing a better job than Kemi Badenoch, it would be different. Let's say that it would be different. Would it be better? Would the Conservative Party be in a better position? Absolutely not. Jerrick would just mess up just as badly as Kemi Badenoch is doing now, just in different ways. And then, of course, they ask this. For whom did you vote, of course, for in the final round of last year's contest? So most of the people who are responding, 61% voted for Kemi Badenoch and 30% voted for Jerrick. And now to say that it's almost neck and neck, saying, well, if it was held today, how would you vote? With Jerrick narrowly at like a 0.2% victory compared to this, where pretty much everyone voted for Badenoch at 61 compared to 30%. You can see there's a lot of movement in the party going on. So this was asked, of course, about Jerrick voters. How would you vote? Well, of course, 93% all said Robert Jerrick. However, this is the interesting one as well. When it was asked of Badenoch voters, how would you vote? So 63% said they would still have voted for Kemi Badenoch, but 18% said that they would vote for Jerrick. So that shows you she is losing support. She is losing her membership. And when that starts to go, how long can she keep her MPs in check? I'm starting to think her grip on the party is not that good. But so far, she hasn't had to deal with any crisis in her party or any scandal or anything like that, at least yet. However, that may still happen. And how she deals with that scandal, we'll see. But that could be a big turning point for her. So let's go on into some of this comments. So some of these are infinitely interesting when these are said. So this one says, if the party leader is not supported in their office, hang on, we'll change it back to this. There we go. If the party leader is not supported in their office by a clear majority of the party, plus a clear majority of our MPs, then we will, by definition, have the wrong leader. The wrong party leader will still drive support, public trust, and party membership and donations towards the opposing competing parties, and will now act as a lightning rod for division, plots, and the party's MPs. If they manage to survive, at least in office, and at least avoid radical reform of the party, the wrong party leader will then, of course, lose the next general election. Retaining the party leader in, of course, the vain hope of unity. But there can be no unity under now an unsupported leader. They will remain in office and the party will be torn apart again in 2029 anyway, at which point they will now face widespread justified calls for resignation. Either we have to deal with the problems we have now, or we have to deal with them yet after another election loss. And this is it. This is always what I've said about the Conservative Party. They refuse to look in the mirror and have a deep retrospective look, not only at the current party, but at their time in power as well. Because there is a lot of Conservatives who just think that the past 14 years were great and wonderful. Even though Kemi Badenoch says otherwise, it's not what she'd been saying quite a lot before. And even what a lot of other people have been saying, well, hold on, you were in power for 14 years. We are now facing this problem because of your party. And it's just like, oh, wow. you know, interesting that that comes up quite a lot in conversations. Um, Someone else said, see it. Badenoch runs a party which has absolutely no policies. All she does at PMQs is now to protest at what Starmer is doing without saying what she would actually do differently policy wise. Again, very true. Someone had said, yeah, I'm going to be fair to Badenoch. I'm not her biggest fan, but she's had a couple of good weeks. I wouldn't say she's had a couple of good weeks at all. It at least helped. The defense, of course, does remain, does of course restrain those of an ideological bent, but it has allowed her to at least look a little bit more serious. The fact that reform, of course, being stuck with the Trump baggage has created that Farage now cuddling up to his best friends for at least a few years has at least taken some of the pressure off her to try and to appeal those on the right as much, but it has given at least some space to be heard. I say it hasn't given her any space to be heard, to be honest, at all. Because she's got nothing to say, because she's got no policies. As for Jerick, if he is the answer, ask another question. Has he far too much baggage, and is he far too attached to the money of the wealthy? He might as well have had a sticker on his bag saying "kick me" for all the free shots he'll hand to Labour. And of course, trying to tackle to reform on the right, he would just as implode, and as Trump now decrees, now blow up would be a huge mistake. Again, he's not bad, you know. He's not bad on that front. Something else someone brings up here, reading around now on various forums, it seems that the Rupert Lowe was the very reason why some had actually joined Reform. Some are now saying that they won't be remaining as members. It'll be very interesting to see if Farage goes very quiet on the membership numbers now after this debacle. Yeah, that's something Wealth was bringing up on this. You know, obviously Rupert Lowe was obviously, you know, chosen by Musk and by others after that debacle, saying, "Oh, Lowe's should be the guy to run reform, not Farage." Again, Farage has pretty much tanked his own party at this point. Almost as if that's a history repeating itself. That it's just a big grift machine for him. So this one at the bottom. As an activist for the party, but now at least elderly and a bit remote, so I do doubt my own judgment somewhat. I think the leadership election, if it was held today, I would vote for Robert Jerick. Why? Kemi simply had just not grabbed my attention at all. Even watching at question time does not instill me with any confidence in her. Robert, on the other hand, does at least appear to be taking the fight to Labour and developing now his own thinking, which hopefully will result in good policies. Again, it wouldn't. This whole thing about, Jerick's been out in the press, Jerick's been out doing this. Has it made any waves into mainstream press? I mean, I generally ask, if you are not, big in the conservative circles, do you actually know what Jerick has been saying for the past couple of months? Because I don't. I have no idea what Jerick has been saying when he's in the past couple of months, because it hasn't cut through. And yet, all these people who are pro Jerick saying, "Oh my god, if Jerick was in, he'd be so good." Why? If Jerick can't cut through now, why would he cut through as leader of the party? And not only that, what happens when he starts saying, "We're going to do this policy"? What then does his MPs start to do? And that comment is also right. Jerick does have a lot of baggage. He has a lot of baggage. Do you think that would do well? Don't think so. But as always, let me know what you think to this, because I think these are very interesting developments. But I will say this now: I don't think Kemi Badenoch will be lasting too much longer. Maybe she'll last into 2026, but I can't see her lasting longer than that. And who knows? Maybe Jerick will try some sort of coup. Who knows? But as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.